Okay, I'm ready.
Welcome to Breaking the Chains. I am Bakita. I'm here with Cicely. I have talked to this sister so much already. We've been talking for a while already, but we are here to have some real conversation about repatriation to Ghana specifically. Cicely, you have been in Ghana for how long?
This is the fifth year. I think we into getting around somewhere around. Yeah.
5 years already. Yeah. Now, I talked to you when you had I think you had been in Ghana about 2 years when I initially talked to you. And we had an amazing conversation. And for those who want to see that conversation, I will post a link for that conversation in the description. But today I want to talk about some of the challenges that we are facing in Ghana, especially as Black women from America. Yeah. We can't speak for nobody else. We can only speak for Black women coming from America. Now, I did a video recently where a young lady was speaking about feeling unprotected. She's from Chicago, just like you, from the south side of Chicago, and she's in Ghana for, she didn't necessarily come as a repatriate, but she is. And she was just speaking about how she, while Ghana is a very safe place, is a relatively safe place, she's felt quite unprotected. Can you first give us a little background on you and Ghana for those who haven't, who don't know about you? And then let's talk about some of these challenges.
Okay. Well, where to start?
You moved to Ghana about 5 years ago.
Yeah, we came here in 2018. Okay. Our family first came to Ghana in 2012. And we made a decision at that time that we wanted to secure housing here and start a business here. So we embarked upon that adventure. And it has been an adventure. And so six years after that, we ended up here, like for real. My children go to school here. They're doing rather well with that. They're thriving here. My youngest children. About a year ago, my oldest daughter, who's a university student in the US, she came over here. I brought her here last year. In fact, during the middle of the COVID pandemic or whatever. It was going real rough on her, just like so many young people. Yeah. And we thought that her coming here would be helpful, healing, give her opportunity to just, recenter herself and ground herself. And in a lot of ways, it has done that. But she's here, and she's here, and I don't know when she's leaving now at this point, she doesn't necessarily want to go back, it seems, at this time. But so since we've been here, we've embarked upon a couple of building projects. We have a farming project that we're working on, a food processing plant that is this close to opening up here in Accra. Noe is working on a recycling project. My boys are one of them is in school here, in the boarding school, which a lot of people had a lot of challenges with, because you're away from home with a whole bunch of other kids, and you got to learn all that crap, and you got to deal with a lot at boarding school. But he's a man, is time he started learning to deal with a lot, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we're not gonna wait till he's 25 to try to introduce him to it.
Was that a
So
hard
he's
decision to make?
yeah, it was hard because we wanted to. We initially thought before we even came 10 years ago, okay, we knew that boy was going to boarding school, okay. uh, but you know, we kind of hemmed and hawed about it, you know, through primary school. And so once he finished with junior high, it's like, come on now, you're gonna have to, what you gonna do? You gonna hold him like a little baby, or you gonna let him? And one thing he told me when he first started his boarding adventure, was it last year? Because when they finish JHS, they have a test, and the schools like to hold them for that test because they be working them. They had classes in the morning, classes in the evening, and all throughout the day. So I tried to hold him at home, and he was like, no, this is traveling back and forth is taking 2 hours off my school time.
Yeah.
I have to go. And then he said something to me. He said, let's just let me go. Let me improve myself.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
So that kind of began the cycle in my head of transitioning him to getting from up under mommy. And, you know, his dad and everybody, the men, you know, in his family they've all walked this path, you know, not all of them, but the ones we like, let's say it like that. And, you know, it's something to me, it's something to be said for the process. So we went on and, you know, it wasn't easy. I'm telling you. And first of all, they said it's free high school here. That's what they say.
That's what they
That's
say.
what they say. They say it's free.
They
Okay,
say
you see what I'm saying? Nah. And at some point, you know, we had saved up money for this process. We blew through that money. We blew through it so fast and so hard. When it finally got time for him to leave, my son said, Ma, y'all gonna really do this? Like, y'all gonna send me to school? You gonna use your last money? I said, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we're gonna use our last money. Is it that serious, Ma? You know, and I was in tears when he asked me that. He said, are you gonna do this for real? I said, yes, we're gonna do it. We're going hard as we can, because that's what we want you to do.
Exactly.
So how can we not do that? You know what I mean? And we did it. Even his sister was like, you know, this Bitcoin ain't doing nothing but dropping. Let me throw some money in the pot for my brother. You know what I mean? So we did they surprised us though. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, you want your kid to go to public school here, don't try to save up no $1,000 and think that's gonna get them there.
Yeah.
You need a lot more than that. I would say about 3.
Yeah.
And that's for public school. They got me with that one. So be warned.
Would you say that you were fairly warned about what your journey could look like in Ghana?
Yeah, I do. And I think because I didn't just rush and come over here. It was a very long process. And quite frankly, you know, we tried to do a lot of things to, you know, cushion ourselves and give ourselves a chance. And a lot of those things fell through, you know, and ultimately we had to meet a lot of the challenges, man, face to face and head on. The best of plans, you know, you know what I'm saying? It just never seemed to, you know, to really come up to the mark. So
don't nobody know. I know.
Yeah, so it's been real. And I don't think that I was under any delusion about it. I do think that had I been, you know, maybe with better guidance initially, it would have been better for us. But, you know, being married to a Ghanaian, you kind of like don't think you need, you know, certain things because, you know, you married to a Ghanaian. Right. But if you married to a Ghanaian that's been out of the country for a while, they almost in a similar boat as you coming back home.
Exactly.
So it's just a very convoluted and complicated situation. And I don't think I was delusional or had rose-colored glasses on about it, but just the fact that just because I've been having that type of, just maybe a little bit of clarity, it hasn't changed anything. It's still difficult.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
still challenging. It is what it is. It's just that I knew what I was getting into, and like I said before, America is behind enemy lines, but this is the front line. And if you think about the front line of in the war strategy, it's also not easy. It's not easy at all.
It's not. It's not.
Yep.
And can you tell me, why do you think so many people from our community don't keep it real about what's really happening on the ground in Ghana?
Well, for one, I don't think we want to be fully responsible for ourselves. If we tell the truth, then we have to be responsible for some of the shit that's happening here, for lack of a better word.
I mean,
I think faking a funk is a smoke screen and a like a overlay for the underlay, whereas look over here while I'm doing this over here, because I really don't want to fully be responsible for and take on the challenges that we actually really do need to face in returning. So that's one part of it. The other part, I think, is just we mentally, this is just part of the damage that Babylon has done to our mental state, which we have talked about before.
Yeah.
We're in denial. Some of us think we can just come over here, stand on the ground, and magically, the sun gonna shine on us and heal you of all that, 400 years of damage.
Yeah.
And I can't, that's just not going to be the case. It's going to take you admitting it, looking at yourself, dealing with your shit, and just stop it with the fakeness. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all it is. It's, Black Thought did that 10-minute freestyle a few years ago, about five years ago. And he used that play on Chinua Achebe's book called Things Fall Apart. Yeah. And he said, when the center is too weak things fall apart when the center is too weak to hold. Yeah. So here we are, we're supposed to be building a center that's strong enough to hold people that's returning, but we down here, you know what I'm saying? We not holding up the center. Exactly. And I think that the fakeness is an attempt for us to pretend, but that's when it gets dangerous.
Very dangerous. And
because now you pretending like the center is strong enough to hold people coming over here, and people are getting hurt, people are getting scammed, and we are in no shape to hold anybody up and help them do anything, really.
Yeah. So would you say that we basically get there and it is really every man and woman for him and herself?
And it's embarrassing. I'm gonna tell you. I do not feel like I'm exempt from this criticism. I don't feel it's challenging me, organization. Like I like to think that I'm a master strategist, you know what I mean? I'm a wartime counselor. I really am, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the challenge of my life.
I can only imagine.
Ghana maybe is different in the Gambia. People try to make it seem like that's the case. Maybe it's different in Senegal. People try to make it seem like that's the case. for some reason, things are not gelling here. Things are not gelling. And I'm not blaming Ghana. I'm not blaming the Ghanaian people.
Right.
But it's something about the combination of what we bring in and what they dealing with.
Yeah.
Hey, we got some of the same problems too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, as you probably know, oftentimes I get DMs and emails and stuff. People are always asking me questions about coming. You know how that is. You probably get it still too. And oftentimes people are looking for a community. They're looking for where do I reach out to? Where do I, where do I land? Like, they looking for some guidance, right? And in the last some time, I've come to a place where I have a hard time referring people to people in our community there. Because I feel like I have to be responsible with how I help guide people. And I don't want to put nobody in a situation where, here, I thought these individuals were doing this, that, and the third, but then I'm finding out that they're doing something very different than what I morally and integrally, is that a word? Would be okay with. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's shit that I'm just not okay with. And I really struggle with even wanting to deal with our folks there. And this is hard for me to say, but I'm gonna say it. Because a lot of people, not everybody, of course, but a lot of people have proven to be full of shit. Yeah. They've proven to be not, to me, it feels like they're using Pan-Africanism and Black nationalism and repatriation, and all of these things are like the new money grab. Granted, we need money to do stuff. I'm not saying people should do shit for free. I would never suggest nobody work for free. But the stuff that I'm seeing, we want people to do this and do that and spend this and spend that. But then when people really need support, it's not there. You got organizations where they want people to pay fees, like membership fees and all of this stuff, but I'm not hearing that there's the support that people need is there. But I'm also not there right now. I know when I was there, I didn't see it. Can you tell me, is there anybody, any organizations, any foundational thing that we have to support? I would say no. We have strong individuals. We have individuals with integrity. We have individuals with a very forward-thinking vision about building Pan-Africanism and building power for African people. We have that, right? But we do not have community. Our organizational structures here are extremely weak. They are underfunded. And even if they were fully funded, with some of the leadership that we have, it's still weak. There's really no standard. There's really no vision, collective vision that we're working on as a community coming here to build. The
the strategy and approach that the Ghanaians have taken with us has not worked. And we, instead of us learning from that and making our adjustments from that, we are deeper in the mess than we've ever been before. And things have now become dangerous. And I'm no longer encouraging people to even come here. I'm not going to be responsible. Unless you come in, unless I'm bringing you and I'm keeping you like my daughter. And even that, I couldn't even extend. We don't even have enough protection for me to be able to stand strong and be able to fully protect my daughter. Big gap. Oh, shit. My son, man, come give me some of that sugar. I ain't never seen you boy since you been 4 years old, boy. Come on here, give my give me, don't give me a weak ass hug. Oh my God, the high top fade is faded, boy. Boy, man, come on, Jesus.
Welcome home.
Aquabla, the struggle is real. As soon as you left, she got sick. The day you left, she got sick. We lost our dog. When he went to school, man, she just literally got sick and passed away. And I didn't want to call him and tell him that on the phone. So now he come home, he looking for his dog, and we have to bury it. But we got two other dogs, so we're not gonna be completely dog free. But our big girl that we just loved her. She was our first dog. We lost her. But yeah, she literally got sick the day he went to school. But anyway, we come back to this thing because the point I was making is that we can't protect ourselves without community.
Right.
And it ain't no sense in us faking and telling people, come one, come all, when we're not serious about creating that community. It's nothing stopping us physically. There's no physical barriers to us creating that community here. There are none. All of the challenges are coming from here and here from us.
Coming from us. It's coming from us. Yes. So what would you said you made a strong statement. And I want to kind of dig into that. You said that our lack of foundation has made it quite dangerous for us to be there.
Yeah, for women, for the sisters, yeah.
Can we dive into why this has become a dangerous situation for our sisters?
Well, this is not for the light at heart. Let me go ahead and put that out there.
So if you have an issue with the truth, if you have an issue with not talking about things realistically, this is the time for you to shut this video off and go on about your business, because we're going to have a real conversation about what we're dealing with. Go ahead. I just wanted to put that little disclaimer out there.
Community extends a sort of protection over you, and you can get away with being freely yourself and doing your thing over here. Because like what I don't want to do, what some people will say is, American women, we coming over here acting a fool, and we can say that, but ain't nobody acting more of a fool over here than the Eurasians. And yet they're not targets.
Right.
Yet they are not targets. A European woman can come on any beach in any place in the continent of Africa, take off her clothes and walk around almost nude. Not one Muslim country, not one person will come up to her, touch her uninvited, or harass her in any kind of way.
Absolutely.
But we as Black women, African women coming from the West over here, unfortunately, we have been marked because people know that we do not have the weight. We don't have the political power We don't have the economic momentum behind us that would give us that type of protection. We do not have community here. We do not have the power structures that they invited us to partake in. That was that Fihankra situation. And instead of taking that serious and knowing that it would one day be our protection,
that would be our protection,
we didn't do it. And now the floor is still open, but we're not walking into that, you know, into that work, basically.
It's worth it.
It's worth it, because now when the sisters come over, instead of being able to relax and do their thing, whatever they came over here to do, you know, now they looking over their shoulders. They gotta, you know, because people are taking liberties. The men here from America, the men here, the Ghanaian men, Nigerian men, hey, whoever and everybody is taking liberties with us right now. I've had reports of all types of attacks, and my daughter was attacked. In fact, you know, by a brother from the US, okay? And I didn't bring her here for that. You know what I'm saying? And I imagine none of us coming over here for that. A sister was just attacked in a boat by a driver.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Beaten. Another young sister, she'd already packed her stuff and left. They robbed her. Nobody would even help her. We have been marked. We have been marked. And as women of the marked group, we are the weakest. We are the weakest and more prone to any type of, you know, negative behaviors coming at us. And I have so many examples, even bringing my daughter here. I have seen things, I never seen Ghanaian men be anything but reserved. That cat calling and all that, where did that come from? Grabbing on us. I've seen men chasing my daughter's car on foot.
What?
I can't even put in it. The police are harassing her. I can't put in a taxi to the driver is, you know, trying to touch her leg. My daughter had to hop out of a taxi last month. Literally, didn't even get to where she was going.
Let me ask you this, because historically, African women here in America have been I don't know how to say. It's been stated that we're like over sexual, like they over sexualize us, they hypersexualize us. Do you think that has carried on to our moving to the States? I mean, to the continent, or into Ghana specifically?
Let me ask you this. Do you think that we as women are more hypersexual than women from the UK?
No, I absolutely don't. I don't.
Okay.
But
okay.
There is the stereotype.
Right. But even with that stereotype, that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm like, at the end of the day, when it comes to sexual deviance, we are not the ones who set the bar.
No, we're not.
So why should we be singled out?
We shouldn't be.
For sexual exploitation. The fact that we're being singled out for exploitation and for harassment and all those things, it shows that people think that we are marks. In Chicago, we got a term for that. I can't say it, but it's like it's a mark. You a mark. That's what you will hear them say, you mark. You know what I'm saying? We are marked as weak because we have no community.
Because we have
Swedish women, German women, British women, they can come here and they can do whatever, but nobody is willing to put themselves in a line of fire, which is where they would be if they should think about attacking one of them.
Right.
You understand? So we're more vulnerable because we don't have, if we came here with a shit ton of money, like the Chinese come, with their full government backing. Even if we didn't have our government backing, even if we had our people's backing over here.
Yeah.
And we was coming over here building production facilities and processing facilities and factories and schools and all this shit. You think people would be fucking with us like this?
I know they wouldn't. I know they wouldn't.
So this is what I'm saying. We're not making none of the moves that need to be made in order for us to substantiate a mass movement of us over here. We're not making any of the moves that it would take organizationally for us to be able to support ourselves here.
Right.
That is not a personal attack. And some people took it like that. I did an interview talking about this a little bit. They took it like, and stopped talking to me, blocked me and insulted me and accused me of all kinds of things. And I'm like, look, it's not personal.
It's not personal. It's true.
It's some for everybody. I can't wash my hands of my inability to be more a part of the solution here. I brought my kids here.
Right.
Now just imagine you bring your kids to Africa, all the things that people said about why you bringing your kids to Africa, you know, and then something happened to one of your kids over here.
Yeah.
So you got my family, my daughter, her father, they calling for blood.
Yeah.
Some of mine, because I brought them here under the guise that we can handle ourselves here.
Right. Right. So what do you think is the main, I guess, culprit to this? Because I know one of the reasons why I felt like I needed to come back this way and kind of revamp how we was doing things was because I felt like I didn't have the community that I thought I would have there, because we had there's people who've been there for 20, 30, 40 years. And there's a lot of us there. But I didn't feel that wholeness either, that foundation, like I didn't get that. And I was there 2014, 15, 16, and I didn't feel it. So it was like, okay, I got to go back and re-strategize. And, I've been going back and forth since, trying to re-strategize on how to make this move better. Because although I am married to a Ghanaian, I am not Ghanaian. And I feel like one of the things that, and correct me if I might be wrong with this, but I feel like one of the things that one of the ways that we screw ourselves over is not creating our own community. So, and not saying Ghanaians aren't a part of it, but like, here in Atlanta, we have areas where Ghanaians, Nigerians, and Gambians and everybody, they got their own little shit, and they support each other. Even if they don't really care for each other, they still support each other, because it's like we're a minority in this society, so we have to support each other in ways. Do you feel like, or how do you feel like we should be doing this thing? Like, what would be the way that we should be handling this, I guess, is my question.
We need to be responsible people. We need to take serious the system that's set up here, and we need to take our place in that system. It's like, in the movie, you watch one of the movies, I watched this Muslim series, and the mom's son disappeared, but every night she would fix dinner and fix a plate save his space at the table and put a plate there. Every day she did that. And eventually he resurfaced in this movie. Okay. that's kind of how I feel, you know, we need to put our mind to the fact that even though we've been removed from here, it's still a place for us here, right?
Right.
And when we return, instead of sitting there, we walk into the dinner hall, we see our place at the table and say, oh, well, I don't like that seat. I don't even like what they serving for dinner. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we leave the place open.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what you gonna eat? You gonna go outside and hustle up something, and you know what I'm saying? And you just causing more problems for yourself by not taking part in the system that is set up and walking and sitting in your place. Mm-hmm. So that Fihankra scenario, that's what that was. Absolutely. They created a place for us. They said, look, if you're gonna come back, come over here. This is how we have everything set up. We realize that it's not perfect, but take your place in it. See Absolutely. If you can apply some of the things that you've learned, and let us see what you can do with it. And what did we do with it? We trashed it. We more than trashed it. You know, we thumped on it. We insulted ourselves. We insulted them. We insulted each other to the extent that even to the Ghanaians are also insulted. Everything, it was just a bad. So now the place is still open. We're still coming, but we have nothing, you know. Let's say we was gonna reject that and we had something else. You could reject anything if you got something better.
If you got something better, right? If you have something
better, something better would have been, say, like we said to ourselves, well, in New York, in Atlanta, in LA, and Chicago, and Houston, we really don't even run our corner stores. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Why don't we make sure that when we come back home, you know, we see all the other Africans running everything. Why don't we do what they're doing? Why don't we take responsibility for ourselves, the things that we like to buy and this type of thing? And that's what I was even have. Yes,
I'm sorry, and that's what I was talking about when I was saying, like for instance, when my husband wants something to eat from Ghana, I got several places I can go to, because Ghanaians and Nigerians, they have their stores. Even if it's a Nigerian store, they still got stuff that come from Ghana, that come from Cameroon or whatever. There's somewhere to go and get it, and it's one of them who own it. Like this, my favorite store to go to is owned by a Nigerian guy, and his stuff all is sourced from either Nigeria or Ghana. And to me, that's taking power, and it's taking responsibility, as you mentioned, taking responsibility for what it is that your community needs. And although they have to spend a hefty price for those things because they're imported here, they go in there and get that stuff. Yep. They don't mind going in there and buying the stuff. I went and I saw, you know, the thing you pound fufu with the wooden contraption and the stick. The bowl was $75. And the stick was $69.99.
Wow.
In the African market. But it's in there. You can get everything you want. It's there. But they don't mind paying it. And every time I go in there, it's folks in there patronizing their folks.
Exactly.
So it goes to what you were saying, like why wouldn't we have those things that we like? Like I don't
even the basic things. Everybody know we returning from the US. We can't come over here broke with no ideas, no initiative, scraping together. How long we've been working, our family alone been working on a farm. We still don't have a farmland yet. We this close to it, but I mean, come on. This is something that should have, I have people who literally from all over the world send money. They know New African Image Makers, the work we doing with media and just trying to center revolutionary thoughts and lifestyle. They know the work we doing as far as, increasing our geopolitical awareness and our media awareness and all of this. And they send money. Okay. I have those people. It's a lot of them. Okay.
Right.
And then I have the ones who are like, why do she always need money? And I'm like, why aren't you sending money every month? Because that's what people do when they want to build power. We are in a situation over here. We're not coming by ourselves as individuals. We are coming as like a four group. You know what I'm saying? We're one of some of the repatriates that are reformulating the return.
Right.
Do you think we can do that by ourselves as an individual?
And you damn sure can't do it for free. Like, ain't nothing free, and I don't understand. Like,
we got issues, man.
So
the Chinese people have the Chinese government. The Turks, the Lebanese, they have Islam, and they have the organizations behind them that's supporting the things that they're doing here. All we have is each other, and if we do not stand up for ourselves and put our money and energy, to uphold that center, trust me, deal with the devil.
That's a powerful statement right there. Deal with the devil. I have been struggling with the fact that often I get concerns. I've heard it from you, I've heard it from other people about the dangers that the women are facing. Hold on one second. Excuse me. I know y'all see me talking. Go in your room.
Well, your time limit, boy, you gotta get 30 minutes to get your stuff done before the kids like, hey, showtime.
Exactly. But I've been like, I got one call one day from a sister who was helping another sister, and she was like, Keita, this is a lot. She's like, I just got a call. I had to go and check on the sister. She's in the hospital. She's been beaten to a bloody pulp. I didn't even recognize her. And I'm like, so another woman is having to go to her defense, like to go and see about her. Like, we need, and that wasn't the first time I had heard about that. Also, I've heard about the fact I won't say the fact, the idea, because I haven't seen it myself, but there's this thing that I'm hearing, like the women who are coming there with brothers from here, seeing it, they're saying it seems like the brothers get there and they turn into a whole nother beast.
Hey, Keita, this shit, that's why I made the point that the attackers are all men, okay, but they're all different men from different places. So, some person might think, oh, this Ghanaian. No, it's not Ghanaian men. It's every perpetrator who feels like they got a mark in their sights. Is basically, it's a free-for-all. That means, especially if they wearing a badge here, they have a lot of power and they know it, and they are using it. And so what happened was, with the year of return, that flowing influx of sisters that was coming over here for visit, that's what bust the game wide open. We was coasting before that.
Right.
We definitely
were.
We was on thin ice We didn't even know it. But once that influx of those however many hundreds of thousands or whatever that came over here, that exposed our underbelly. So one thing people learned about us, they see that we like to, we come over here on vacation, we might like to party. We
Right.
like to, we might like to get a little loose and do our thing over here. We got
Right.
a little change on us. They learn some
Right.
things about us that they have taken and kind of just basically ran with it. And now all those people who was over here doing all of that stuff, they not even here anymore.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Those of us who live here, now we hear like, why everybody start acting funny? Why they looking at me like that? Why they looking at me like I'm a fat chicken and they starving? They weren't looking at me like that at first. Now they learn how we get down. They saw our weakness because as they poked and prodded at us during the year of return, they said, hey, ain't no pushback. I could choke her, I could extort her, I could beat her, I could do this to her. And guess what? It ain't like the Chinese. When you do something to them, you get swift and harsh consequences.
Right.
It ain't like when you do something to a European a real white lady, and you do you get out of pocket with one of them and the whole can of whoop ass open up on you. It ain't like that. You can poke at these women and they prodded and they poked and they poked and they prodded till they realize if I arrest her and I extort her, no one's going to help.
Nobody's coming.
No one's coming. No one's gonna say anything. And if they do say something, they're gonna blame her for doing whatever it was that she did and not me for doing too much, and you know what I'm saying, and putting her in a dangerous situation or attacking her. So now we completely exposed, our underbelly is exposed, our weakness is exposed, and perpetrators, they exist everywhere.
Exactly.
They come from everywhere.
Exactly.
Some of them are coming. Some of them we married to some of them. You come over here with your husband, he ain't been kicking your ass in America. Why you gonna come over to Ghana? And now all of a sudden you get a small taste of freedom. It goes straight to your head and you start mistreating your wife over here.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah, it's definitely happening. And what I'm struggling with is the fact that nobody's talking about it out loud. And that's why I'm doing this. This is why I wanted to talk to someone who's brave enough to say, this shit is happening to these women. I don't have the problem. You don't have the problem. But you've seen the problem has come into your house. Right. The problem has come into people you know house. We're not talking about people. You're not talking about people that you don't know. You're talking about people who you actually know. Yeah. You're not talking about what you heard. You're talking about, I know this chick and this happened to her. I know this happened to her. So now, and I really appreciate your insight, because I was really struggling, because like you said, this wasn't happening before the year of return. And
it's to the point now where it's to the point now where, maybe you had came over here in the 90s or the early 2000s. It was low-key a sense of pride as a returning person from America. You know what I'm saying? People was happy. They hear your accent. They like it. They want to talk to you. And now it's to the point you don't even want people to know you're from the U.S. You want to be quiet, because as soon as they hear that tonation, as soon as they hear that American accent, trust me, they searching your ass. You know what I'm saying? Or they angling. And it's not simply just people who are here. It's us too doing it to each other.
Absolutely.
Because we knew at first, just like they did with Fihankra. We knew that they could lie, tell us anything, that they could extort us. And they knew when they got busted that we wasn't gonna do shit.
Wow.
They knew it. So Americans as far as us coming from America to over here, we've been exploiting each other. We've been exploiting
now that's the truth.
African over here.
Now that's the truth.
We've been doing all of that. Now, with the year of return, that game then busted wide open. Now other people are taking part too.
Yeah. You know, it's I know it's really hard for our people to talk about this stuff because in a way it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
You feel a certain kind of way. It's like, damn, you know, I put myself out here and
my family.
I put my family out here. And now I gotta face the music.
Yep.
And that music is real loud right now.
Yep.
And
I'm getting a lot of backlash. Trust me, if I was any less of a person, I wouldn't even say none of this shit. I'll be just like everybody else.
I know.
Because people have stopped talking to me. People have blocked me. People been going behind my back. I don't involve myself in gossip and a lot of foolishness, but I have come to find out that it's going down around me and about me. And for what? Just because I'm basically saying, hey, look, me and my family ran into a situation. And I looked around once that happened and I see that it's happening to other people too. And I took my little dinger and I alarmed the bell.
Yeah.
And once I did that, instead of targeting the weakness that we have as what we, you know, and what we're doing over here, I became a target.
Yeah.
My daughter had become a target, whereas people are trying to even make it seem like she's a liar, you know, that she didn't experience what she experienced, you know, that a person didn't try to take advantage of her when they in fact did. They admitted that they did, but people here are still making excuses for this cat.
So when you say people,
we are being attacked and maligned, and you know, I was told by one of the community leaders that, you know, I'm isolating myself. I'm like, I'm not antisocial. I'm not nowhere near isolated. Foolishness though, if it come before me, I'm either gonna step on it or step over it, but I'm not gonna pick it up and play with that shit.
Right. Right. So what is it? How have you been able to identify our main problem? I mean, I know accountability and responsibility are probably the two main problems that we're facing as a community. With so many women, I mean, and I know women, professional women who are from our community who they have really great incomes. They're dropping what they have or creating a way to make money and live in Ghana, and they packing up and moving. And there's a lot of that happening. There's a lot of that in Ghana already. I know several women who are professionals, like PhDs and law degrees and things of that nature, who have packed up and moved to Ghana. And I feel for them because they are single women who are in very vulnerable, it's a very vulnerable position to be in. It's vulnerable to be a single woman here, but at least you have your family. At least you have some kind of structure around you. You know this terrain, but we hop up and we move to Ghana. You got to learn how to get around. You got to learn the system, the culture. It's so many things. The learning curve is steep. And then you have situations like one sister was telling me about how feeling uncomfortable with the fact that so many men feel like they have the right or they have agency over her. They need to know where, they want to know where she lives. They want to know, you know, who lived with her, and like trying to get so what you do. And it's like, you're right. It's a mark. As it's coming out of my mouth, they're marking people.
Yeah. You know, I'm from Chicago. I know a mark when I see one, and we are marked as over here, and that is the most plainest, most simplest way that I can.
I mean, as it came out my mouth, I'm like, oh, that's a fucking mark.
Yeah, exactly. So just imagine, it's predators everywhere. But see, like, let's say this, for example, me and my family was in Chicago. You know, I got people in Chicago. I got people, period. And I could, if it had happened to my daughter in Chicago, it'd have been a whole different
story.
In fact, I wouldn't even be able to talk about it because they would have already did something so heinous. You know what I'm saying? To this boy. Here we are trying to move in a positive direction and show our people and our family, you know, that we building for real here. We making appropriate sacrifices, and we're holding ourselves to the line of what we're building here. This is what we represent. We're not moving off our square because some niggas, and I reserve the right to use that word, then came over here, you know, pretending like they're building legacy, when the only legacy that you're building at this point is coddling a son who is basically, you know, a wannabe rapist. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and now we're faced with that, you know, we have to stand for what we said we stand for. We can't act like Chicago in Ghana. Right. You know what I'm saying? And my daughter has upheld that standard, and it have encouraged me, you know, to just really look at it and say, look, sis, at the end of the day, this is not that. Yeah. And we don't want it to be that. No. So we have to handle this, you know, in a way that pushes us forward, not in a way that makes us fall back, you see. But definitely it'll be a different story had this taken place on those other grounds, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows that. This is what makes this kid so dangerous as a wannabe rapist, because now you got a family that's coddling him. You got a half-ass, weak-ass community that's hemming and hawing, like they don't know that no means no and stop means stop. So there's confusion there, you know, and you don't have any mechanism in place other than these colonial systems that the Ghanaians have said, well, take them to the police. It's like, that, you know, that's, we all that's know what that look like. That's never our first reaction to anything, Chicago or anywhere, you know. So it's a very difficult position. We're holding the line. We're being who we are, regardless of all these things that is being said before us. But I can't play with people. I'm not gonna tell you that if you come over here, man, somebody might grab you in the club. You might, you know what I mean? They might grab you. And when you tell them to let you go, they might not listen. Yeah. Yeah. You know, this is what we're dealing with. What I am concerned about is, hold on. What I'm really concerned about is, how do we help women to protect themselves? Like what are the preliminary solutions? Like, what can we do besides not coming? Yeah. Well, before that, what is it feeling like or looking like for people who have made this move? They have family here. What I'm hearing from many people is, you know, our family here is like, you shouldn't have took your ass over there in the first place. That's what I'm also getting at. And I don't, that's those words you just don't want to hear. You don't want to hear that shit. You do not fucking want to hear that. You got to bleep that out. But those are the words you don't want to hear. And then especially when you don't really have, if okay, we can point to about 3 or 5 solutions, right? We ain't nowhere near inside them solutions though. We not even trying. Damn. So now what am I saying to my people that say, why you carry your ass over there?
Right. Right.
If we was making an effort, if we even admitted that this was a challenge, we focused on all the wrong things over here, man. You got people doing all kinds of stuff over here. It's nothing but a bunch of busy work.
So speaking of people not being, okay, we just not being honest. Like, we got folks over there. Sis, I'm hearing about people being homeless and shit. Like,
yeah, me too.
I'm hearing about people not, but they still fronting like it's all good. Like, what's happening? Why aren't we being real about it? Like, my guy, if you or my sister, if it's hard, it's hard. I mean, sis, I literally got a message a couple of weeks ago, the mid part of May, I think it was. A family had come to Ghana. I'm sure you heard. There was a family that came. Literally, they hadn't even got off the airplane good, and it was already some shit. Like, man, woman, and children, a bunch of children. I feel like we even starting off wrong, because how do you moving from state to state is expensive, let alone moving to another country. We're moving to another country. There's people who are thinking they're coming to some kind of structure, some kind of foundation, and they get in there and it's like, what I'm gonna do? I just don't know. Like, then you have people, now you got messages going out. People need money to get out of the airport because they didn't prepare for the fact that they need to pay for COVID fees for 8, 9 people, 10 people. You didn't prepare. Yeah. No,
I hadn't heard about this case.
You hadn't heard about? Oh, okay. So we have families who are coming, and y'all getting lists. I'm getting lists of stuff that people need. You need somewhere to stay. You need clothes and shoes and rags and dishes and furniture and beds. You ain't been there but 2 weeks and you already out of money.
Oh my God.
And it's about 10, 12 of y'all. Like, it's like 10 of y'all. And
oh my God.
It's been 2 weeks. We don't have the infrastructure. I'm just gonna say this for anybody who's watching and you're thinking about coming to Ghana or going to Ghana. We do not have the infrastructure in place. We don't have no welfare system in place for you to come to Ghana. Ain't gonna be no food stamps. Ain't gonna be no WIC. Ain't gonna be no Section 8. Ain't nobody got money over there to be putting folks up. Everything costs money. Rent is inflation is a problem all over the world right now, including Ghana. Food is going up. Everything is going up. You cannot hop your ass on no plane with your whole family and you don't have enough money to sustain yourself for some time. Being able to running out of money in 2 weeks is absolutely irresponsible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely irresponsible. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why it's happening. I don't know if it's a fleeing situation. Like, we don't have, ain't nobody giving us asylum or anything. People don't understand with asylum comes some resources. We don't have that. So you can't hop on the plane and be like, I'm running from America because they're shooting us. It's the truth, but you got to come with your own shit. You got to come ready to make it. Because I'm sitting here talking to people who have houses built, who have their vehicles, they have the basic structural needs met in Ghana, and they still like, hey, this shit tough.
Yeah, we are one of those.
And you ain't got, you don't even have the rent that we have. We got people paying.
My son said that. My son said that we are the first broke trillionaires. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much money you got, it's not enough.
It's not enough. It's not enough. But I just want to know, like, how can we? Because I don't want to discourage anybody. But I can't encourage nobody to move under the circumstances. Like when you have so many women who are being like, bump this, I'm out of here.
Man, and the people who own these Airbnbs and these hotels, if you notice, they coming in all the repack groups like, please, can you guys let the women know this is dangerous what they're doing.
This is very dangerous.
It's becoming more and more dangerous. So unfortunately, because we don't seem to learn, from our errors, it might get worse before it get better. Okay, so that's one thing we can unfortunately look forward to, and I'm hoping it's not a nightmare.
Yeah.
But it's already close enough for me, and what I'm posing to my peers is that we take a serious look at how to build power over here, and that we approach our people in all seriousness, that this is not something that is an option for us. This is something that we have to do. We can't come here like we can't return home. We got problems, we got challenges, we've overcome a lot of things, but we can't come home with our tail between our legs like we're coming over here right now. It's not appropriate, it's not acceptable, and it's beyond the way it looks. It's the way we're going to continue to be treated if we continue to behave in such a way. What we need is some positive production. We need to build, and I ain't talking about these little houses we build. Everybody build, we all build, okay, but that's not enough. We need collective strategies and work and organization. If we don't do it, we are fools. We are fools. Most of us, tell the truth. When you leave your house, I left my mother's house to go to school while I was 17 years old.
Yep.
I came back, I was 27, 28, and I refused to come back with my tail tucked between my legs. If I couldn't come back and afford to pay rent and have my ride and be my autonomous, independent self that I had been for that last 10 years, how will I look even coming to my mother's house?
Absolutely.
All beat up and jacked up, can't do nothing, and waiting on everybody to you know what I'm saying, to do stuff. But no, we can't come home like that. And that's what we over here like right now.
That's what it's looking like. That's exactly what it's looking like.
And I just heard another elder say that they don't need no beach bums here. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I'm not saying we shouldn't be able to come, only the rich can come. No, that's why we need a collective strategy.
Exactly.
This is not something that's on one family. What happened to the fund that was supposed to be able to help people get over here and establish them and sit them and put them in a position 1 or 2 years?
Everybody wants somebody else to do it. Nobody's taking the responsibility to do it themselves or to create the infrastructure that we need so that we can do it ourselves. And I'm not sure how because I know a lot of people who have very high integrity. They're really good people that are living in Ghana. But how do we get those people to come together and do the work together? Because what I'm seeing is, for one, you know, it seems as though the people who, how do I say this? I'm trying to be diplomatic about it, but the people who ain't shit, they got the biggest voice, they got the biggest following, they have people sending them money left and right, and then you find out they weren't worth a damn. So now me, who here doing some real work, busting my ass doing what, and you who doing everything you can to make this thing work for our people, we find ourselves in situations where now it's like you can't even really look to our people for money, because now they done been following Joe Smo and Jane Blaine, and they done con folks out of a whole bunch of bullshit and money. And now we sitting here looking like, do you know what I could have did?
Yep. And it's to the point. It's to the point now. I'm not even just looking at this as a collective strategy that needs to be employed by people here. I'm calling now to the U.S. This is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, and then they want to come online and complain about, oh, they scammed us, That's on you. That's on you. I guarantee you bypass people with integrity. You bypass people who were honest. You bypass people who had great ideas. You bypass people all for probably some frivolous ass superficial reasons. Okay. Yep. Maybe they was legit to some extent. So what? New African image makers is not fancy enough. Okay, maybe you got me on that one. Okay, but you bypassed me to put your money with this other person, and they ran off with your shit.
Exactly.
Now what? Now what?
And now you look.
If I wasn't here, then I feel some kind of way for you. You know what I mean? But that I know you overlooked about 7 great opportunities and you chose the exact jacked up one. That's also telling you self-sabotage.
That's what it looked like.
Even some people come over, they get all the way over here. They even stay for a year or 2 sometimes. And they still sabotage themselves. Then they run back home when Ghana wasn't this and Ghana wasn't that, bro. You never really did anything to make Ghana do what it could do for you, and your criticism is falling on deaf ears because you had the opportunity and you didn't even see it when it went across your face like that.
So sis, let's just keep it real. So what's happening is we're doing the same shit that we do here. We taking and doing it over there.
Yeah. Yeah. So literally, you know, ain't nobody over here. Ain't nobody telling you when to get up. Ain't nobody telling you what to do. You know what I'm saying? That little devil on our back is real light over here. You can't hardly feel it if it's even there at all.
If it's even there at all.
Instead of feeling that power and that force and using it to expand and strengthen and to grow, we use it to pump up our ego, blow our heads up, and just literally fake, act a fool, and just do a lot of shit. You got people over here doing a lot of crazy shit.
Like, can you give me some examples?
Going into prostitution, pulling youth from Ghana into prostitution. You know, you got people, like I said, over here abusing their own family. Wasn't even doing that in the US, but you get over here, you inflated your ego now. Instead of using your power to build and strengthen, you using your power, you know what I'm saying, to lord over your family and endanger people. You know what I'm saying? You got people running phony scams. You still got that, you know. Ghana don't need that. They already got problems in this way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got people over here, literally, you know, they got a little bit of money in their pocket and they feel like that entitles them to people's bodies, to people's purses. You know what I'm saying? And you got a lot of people over here acting a fool is what you got. And we can't, even though we expect some of that, we don't have what it takes to back ourselves up. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're gonna come and you're gonna let your hair down, you need to know you in a secure environment.
Exactly.
And this ain't that.
This
It's
ain't
not
that.
secure.
This ain't
because
that.
we haven't security.
Right.
You know.
And it's not, and like you said, it's not that we don't have the opportunity to. It's that we just haven't done it. Like
no,
like for the life of me, I can't understand how certain things that have been put in place for us to take advantage of, it's just like water running in your hands. You're not taking advantage of it.
We look down on it, we shit on it. Now you got people they're out here literally organizing and demanding legislation from Ghana, from the government here. And I'm like, honestly, I don't, can we make good on what they've already given us?
That's where I struggle.
Have we used what we have? Who here hasn't been given the floor by Ghanaians to come and do what they want to do? I got land right now that want more than what I have no development dollars whatsoever.
Yeah.
Now, that is something that can be corrected. That is something that can be corrected if we put our energy towards correcting it.
Right.
But instead we got people demanding citizenship for what? For what are you gonna do with it? You have citizenship in America. We didn't have a corner store.
Yeah. Damn.
Not even a toothpick factory.
Ooh, that kind of dumb right there, sis.
Every dollar we get in the US, we give it to another community.
Absolutely.
And we can't secure our own. We can't even talk to our youth because we don't have no opportunities for them.
It's true.
So they don't listen to us. They doing their own thing. And they being directed and guided by this mass programming.
Absolutely. It's ridiculous.
And so we looking real stupid right now on both sides of the ocean. We need to get our shit together. We need some money. Okay. Yeah. And I don't care if we got to put it in there $1, $5 at a time. I don't care how big the inflation is. Once a month, when we get together, we need to put money in the pot.
Yeah.
We need some projects over here, not failures.
Yeah.
We need successful group collective projects over here. We need to be able to, all the land, almost every country on this continent, I'm sure, have offered us land.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we have absolutely what it takes to develop something on all of it.
We have more than what
doing it.
We're
not doing it yet. We want to come and demand
build this whole country. We built this whole country for free. Now they done run off. Everybody and their mama is enjoying. We have the opportunity to go and build somewhere else and enjoy ourselves, or at least our children can enjoy, but we're not doing it. And I don't know if we're tired. I don't know if we're we just worn out. We just don't have it in us no more. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's
one thing. I have renewed my commitment, okay, to new African image makers. And I've talked with my people and I'm like, look, let's do a film fund. And that's not a physical structure. That's a film fund for us to put out the type of films and media that give us the kind of backup that we need.
Right.
Understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes, we need to control our own narrative, our own image, and put ourselves out there in such a way that puts us in a better place. Okay. Right. That's only one aspect.
Right.
We're also building a food processing plant here.
Oh, good.
And we're doing that in conjunction with Ghanaians here.
Good.
Okay. So I have renewed my commitment you know, to following through with this work. I do not know how to do a major capital fund. Okay, that's not my field of expertise, but this is the effort and the vision that I'm putting out there.
Right.
Let's stop joking with ourselves.
Yeah, we
Our
got
kids are looking at us, and I don't know about you guys, but I would like for my children and my grandchildren, if I should be so blessed, to look at me in a certain way.
Absolutely.
What I don't want to hear from the future is, damn, what was y'all thinking?
What was y'all doing?
Y'all didn't try to do nothing. Y'all couldn't come together to do nothing. I can hear it, and I don't like that. So I have recommitted myself. Yes, you know, because we sat in school for the lessons about the Native Americans, you know, and I was that student sitting there at my desk thinking to myself, damn, they didn't see what they was dealing with. If they had the vision to see what they was dealing with and they had came together, that whole thing would have been different for us and them. A
whole lot different. It would have been, and for us, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it and I'm saying to myself, we're in the same situation.
Exactly.
And if Garvey told us, and Nkrumah told us, if we don't take care of it now, it's only going to get worse. And we're sitting here watching it like we're watching it worse perform on Netflix, and it's going from bad to worse.
Yeah.
This is what it is. Hey, look, God is not going to do it. It's these hands. It's these hands that's going to do it. So I'm renewing my commitment. I'm not excusing myself from responsibility and blaming everybody, you know, and saying we don't have no help of it. That would be a lie from the pit of hell if I said that. It's strong people here. I'm one of them, damn it. If somebody called me with a problem, I start trying to figure out how to help them solve it. Okay? Right. That's what I do. It ain't a lot of me. It ain't a lot of people like me, but it's some people over here that's like that.
Shoot, they call me over here, and I'm trying to figure out how to help from over here, because that's the kind of people we are. I might not be on the ground, but I find out, I figure it out. You know, because like even in your situation, I'm like, okay, that thing had me up at night. I'm like, okay, who can I call? What can I do? Like, what can I do?
It's so ridiculous.
It's so hard because having one thing I am over is the ornamental organization. I don't give a damn about you and all this pomp and circumstance shit. I need when things happen, we need to be able to solve our problems.
Yep.
And like in your situation, it really hurts me that, for one, the fact that you were trying to handle it in a way that was conducive of continuing to build us as a community.
Right.
So, okay, we got a problem. Let's start here. We're going to go to let's work this out as two families. Okay, us two families can't seem to get this worked out. So let's go to the elders in our community.
Man,
okay, they can't do it. Let's go to this organization. Let's try this organization. Let's try it. Can't nobody help us solve this issue? Can't nobody help us? Like, y'all really, like, we're really trying to keep the police out of this situation. For one, for the sake of this young man, what I was gathering from you was, I'm not trying to have nobody locked up. We want to deal with, what is this issue? Let's deal with the issue here. And let's try to figure out what this individual needs to fix and how to fix my baby. Like, we need to deal with my baby, and we need to deal with you, and we need to get everybody need to be made whole. And the fact that as a community, we struggled with something like that.
Something so simple.
We in for, excuse my French, we in for a fucking ride.
Yeah, You said it, and I thought.
We in for a fucking ride, because if you can't, if something like these, some kids.
And Bakita, this thing went from bad to worse. And had we had as little sense as this other family, it'd have been even worse than that.
It'd have been a war.
It'd have been worse than that.
And I'm glad.
If we had as little sense as they do.
I'm glad that you all were able to stay righteous about how you're trying to handle this situation. And I know it's not an easy thing. And learning that it's so many situations that are like this and even worse, that the young women and women and what people don't know is there's a lot of young repats, like way younger than, because we were considered the young repats at first, yes. Point, because coming to Ghana in your 30s, that's young, because mostly everybody in they
retired.
Yeah, they retired. So we was considered the youngins, but we got our babies now.
Yeah,
we got babies. We have, because my big girl is 20 years old. Your big girl is what, 21, 22 years old. And they have their other families that are our age who got kids that are these ages. And then there are children, there are young people who, I don't want to call them children, there are young people who are moving on their own. They just like, I'm gonna move to Ghana. I'm gonna move to Ghana. Some people going to the university. So it's a lot of moving parts. And we don't have nothing for them to land on.
Yep.
And
I can't take it like that. I can't just accept it like that.
We can't. So, it'll be irresponsible for us to do so. I have 4 girls, 1 adult, and I hope that by the time my girls get to be teenagers, that there will be something more happening for us. Yeah. Because although they're Ghanaian, their mother is African American, and
that helps, because like my sons, they're not having the same challenges as my daughter. You understand?
Yeah,
they're Ghanaian. They're men. Their language is, is more advanced than our, my daughter or myself. They fit in. So, any challenges that they face is the same challenges that all other kids here, are facing, which is acceptable, for us. But my daughter is facing some unacceptable challenges here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Myself, not as much, because I'm a middle-aged married woman. So I don't move like a youthful a youth from America, like my daughter. They're used to a lot of these different social, scenarios and things that I don't really take part in. So that leaves them even more vulnerable. And like one of my friends is like, well, that's not right either, Cicely. You can't have a youth, 18, 20, 25 years old sitting in the house all the time. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so this is what we're dealing with, how to have them have an appropriate social, opportunity, but still have some safety. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Huge challenge.
A big challenge.
Huge challenge.
And then with all of this other social stuff going on this side, and then that's kind of coming along with them, and with the world as a whole, it presents a whole other set of challenges that we couldn't have fathomed anyway.
That's true.
But
that's why one of my friends was saying that, you can't take this personal, and that the fact that it happened to your family is going to end up helping some other people.
Yeah.
And that's what that's supposed to do, and that's what we wanted to do. That's why we didn't agree to a non-disclosure agreement. The family really pressed us and they harassed us to really sign that. And maybe if that had came out before shit hit the fan and really got really nasty, we would have agreed to it. Maybe if they seemed as bent on their son's recovery as we are bent on our daughter's recovery, we would have agreed to that. But because it seemed like it's insulting, is this, is that, is this, is that, but ultimately it had to be like that. You know what I mean? It had to go that way in order for it to be this way, because we needed to say what needed to be said, and things needed to be understood in a certain way. And there was no way that I could have made this case if that didn't happen. So it worked out.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
In another way. It worked out in another way. That's all I'm saying.
So do you find that most of the women who are experiencing these challenges are having the same kind of reaction, and are they getting the same thing that you all got, or are they just not talking about it?
It's a combo of both of them. You know, there a lot of, because you know you're ashamed. You know what I mean? Especially when you're dealing with a sexual assault and these types of things, it's very personal. And it's very intense. So I see why people don't report this stuff.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I could, because you've been victimized, and then as soon as you open your mouth,
you get re-victimized over and over and over.
Because you literally have community members out here basically accusing us of trying to extort the family. And I'm like, no, they cause damage. They cause harm. They need to pay. Who else should pay for it? You know what I'm saying? Who else should pay for it?
You know, you're talking about like therapy and stuff, right?
Yeah, all of it. That, you know, even just the whole, we had a police case and everything. Come on, who's paying for this shit?
Yeah.
We are. How? Or maybe some old lady in the community who feel bad for us, she throwing us money. How is it that the people who perpetrated this crime is not paying anything? Or they try to sprinkle a few bucks on it and think they can sweep it under the rug. No.
Yeah.
So you've been re-victimized over and over and over again. We've been accused of all. Hey man, Bakita, you know, I'm gonna have to tell you the truth. I've never, no one has ever talked to me like this in my face, called me all kinds of names, my daughter, threatened my husband. Can you imagine? You met Kofi. This is not the kind of person you just threaten.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's not the kind of person you just threaten. We have endured all of this, victimized. So not only we all basically, you know what I'm saying, been kicked in the ass by this situation and by these people, you know. So I see why people don't say anything. But for sure, if we didn't say nothing, then it wouldn't be no warning for the next person.
Yeah.
Because believe me, people need to be warned. Women need to know, stop coming over here joking. Yeah. Because you think it's less crime here and that makes you more safe.
Yeah.
It does not.
It does not. And that's one thing, before I let you go, because we've been talking for a while, but before I let you go, I want to hit on, you mentioned the thing about the Airbnb situation, and which is something that really, really just bothers me. For instance, there was a situation here recently where a friend of mine and her sister are coming to Ghana. There was another young lady who she wanted to join them. So she was coming to meet this guy and she wanted to join them. So like they all stay together, more like a safety thing. So my friend was like, yeah, you know, I think that's smart, because I really wasn't comfortable with you going by yourself. Like, you're literally going by yourself. So yeah, come, we can all get our Airbnb together. You can stay here, you can stay with us. We're not comfortable with him staying in the Airbnb because we don't know him, but it'll be a safe space for you. Well, the young lady decided, oh, well, I'll just get my own Airbnb because we need our privacy or whatever. And I mean, but you've never even met this person before. And like you said, in so many of these groups, you have Airbnb owners. You know, Ghanaian women don't talk a lot about things. So to see so many Ghanaian women who own Airbnb saying, can y'all please tell these women to be more cautious about what they're doing? Like the guy, like one lady was saying, the guy who came to secure the Airbnb, she was like, I could tell he was a sketchy type of dude. In Ghana, he would be considered a sketchy type of dude. And this woman is coming here on her own or by herself to meet this guy. And this can be a sketchy situation. And then it ends up being exactly what the lady thought it was going to be, a sketchy situation. Yeah. You got, and I've mentioned this in videos before where women are coming and they're being extorted out of their money. They're being conned into handing over their ATM cards and stuff. And these men are basically taking them for everything.
Yep.
And nobody's talking about this stuff. And it seems to have, I thought by now it would have started to decrease but it has literally taken an uptick. Yep. And now with the whole Airbnb thing, it seems to have gotten even worse. And I just don't know how I guess people have to just take heed. I'm doing this video.
For now, we need to take heed. But we also need to take responsibility. Absolutely. And we need to put together a campaign of some sort and put together some money. We need money. We need everybody to pitch in. We need money here because what we want to do is, and what we can do is, we can step into the space that they left for us. Number one. Number two, that will help a lot. That will help a lot. Let me just
give a little caveat for the people who don't know. Yeah. Well, back in 91, 92, 93, 94, there was basically a tribe situation set up for us. And it's been 30 some odd years and we haven't taken our rightful place in that yet. So that's when we keep mentioning what has been put in place for us. And Fihankra, if you go back and watch my video about Fihankra I did years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, it explains how we completely dropped the ball on that. We completely fucked that up. And we have to take responsibility for the fact that we were given something and we didn't take responsibility for it and accountability for it, which goes back to what you were saying. Why would we be given anything when what we were given, we didn't do what we were supposed to do with it? So what you need citizenship for?
Exactly. And I know people feel some kind of way about it. You can feel however you want about it. But the proof is in the pudding. Use what you have. That's how you get more. You don't get more from throwing shit in the trash, being ungrateful, and treating it like it ain't nothing, and looking down your nose at the systems that's here. They looking at us thinking that we about to bring in some new ideas and freshen it up. And I think they expected way too much from a way too damaged people. I think they was underestimating the damage that we really are dealing with. And I don't think that the systems that are here and established they're not that great in the first place. Let's keep it all the way 100 and say that those are the same systems that led with, you know what I'm saying, a large majority of, I don't say the majority, but a large chunk of the African world literally got shipped off. Oh,
absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
So it is not, nothing is perfect. That's not the point though. You can't stand from the outside and point your finger, you know what I'm saying, and you ain't got nothing to stand on. We got to get in where we fit in and put some work in. That stool and that power comes with land that's sitting there right now.
Exactly.
That's sitting there right now.
And it's been sitting there for years.
Decades. Now we need food. Decades. We looking for farms that we gotta pay for.
And we got hundreds of land. We got hundreds of acres of land that we could be growing food on.
Yep.
But no, we rather not.
Right. So to me, the first thing is to accept, responsibility for the situation we've created over here. And then just, get in where we fit in and start doing what we need to do to be responsible for ourselves here. We're not returning with nothing. We're not returning like some little, with our heads down and our tail between our legs. Yes, America is hard. Yes, America is rough. Yes, America did us dirty. They did us the dirtiest of the dirt. Mm-hmm. Okay.
They did us the dirtiest of all.
Guess what? We fought them.
And we still here.
The fact that we here means that we really won. We won.
That part.
They tried to wipe us out on so many different ways.
Still trying.
Okay? And still we're here. So we're not returning like we don't have nothing to show for ourselves. It's time for us to stand up and take responsibility for our life and for our future. And that is the damn solution. It ain't complicated. It's not rocket science. If it was rocket science, I wouldn't understand nothing. Just to show you where the limitations of my intelligence goes, okay? If it was that, I wouldn't understand it at all. It's not that complicated. It's very simple. Let's take responsibility. Let's look lively. Let's get some money going. Let's stop all this foolishness like somebody gonna breastfeed us for the rest of our damn life. At some point, I like to tell my son, your milk is in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Go
get it.
And pour you a little cup of it. Okay.
Go get
off of here. It's finished.
Yeah. Sis, I really appreciate you. You're always I always learn something when I'm talking to you. I always feel much more inspired. You always, my conversation with you it always comes at a time where I'm feeling like, man, fuck these people. And every time I talk to you, I always feel like, you know what, she right. We can't just give up. We can't just throw our hands up and be like, fuck them people. Even though I really be feeling like fuck them people.
I know, right?
But
it ain't easy.
you always have a way of steering me back in the path of our divine order and righteousness and what we deserve. Like, this ain't something that somebody giving us. This it belonged to us.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
It's ours for the taking if we want it.
Right.
And I want it. I want it for me. I want it for my family. I want it for you and yours. I want it for all of us. And I appreciate you for continuing to stand 10 toes down, because that shit is not easy, and I know it. I encourage you to just stand firm. You know, they didn't, when people talk all this good talk about Dr. King and all of this stuff, but he was like one of the most hated people in the country during his time.
Exactly.
And history has shown that they'll love you later for it. They'll love
you. If they want to, but I'm like Steve Coakley Sr. said, if that's the kind of love you got, I could do without it. I ain't even that kind of love, that ain't helpful at all. But you know what? I'm thinking about. I know what we can do.
Yeah.
Because I know what we've done.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot. We've done a lot. We not no population to shake a hat at. Okay. Yeah. So let's put our little thinking caps on. As my dad would say, let's do some ass shaking around here.
Some real ass shaking, for real.
Ain't talking about twerking.
Not twerking.
On top of the bar at the breakfast spot. Either.
Not twerking on a handstand, but some real, let's get out here and get it.
Yes.
Real. And I think more than anything, just out of a sense of pride for ourselves, we shouldn't be going home on some bullshit.
Yeah.
Like you want to go home. Like, when I come home, I remember when I would come home from college and I would arrive back at Fort Lauderdale airport and my mama pull up and she see me and this smile that would come over her face because there was an excitement and there was an anticipation already. And then when she would see me and I ain't looking all downtrodden and looking all thrown away, she's like, okay, right. I did good. She hanging in there, you know? So I want us, when we're going home to our mother, our mother to see us and be proud of what we bringing home. Because we got a lot to bring home.
Yes, we do.
This place did a lot to us, but we learned a lot. We know the enemy better than anybody in this world know them. And that's an advantage. That's an advantage for our people.
Yes, ma'am.
And we have skills that are needed at home. Yep. We have our thinking capacity, and unfortunately the work ethic that's been built into us is there. No, unfortunately the way that we got it wasn't the best way, but we got it. So as you said, let's take this and you've given me a renewed sense of, okay, let's put your feet back down on the ground, because I've been on my tippy toes, sis. I've been on my tippy toes. So let me put my feet back down on this ground.
You know what I'm saying? Stand on it, man.
Stand on them. I appreciate you, because I ain't gonna lie. I've been like, man, fuck these people.
Man, I told you the last time. Sometimes I'll be on the phone and my husband be like, why you still talk to these Americans? I know, right? Man.
But you know, these are people and we gotta love them, man. We got
man. Yeah.
But I ain't gonna hold you no more, sis. I know your son that came home. He probably sitting there waiting on you. And I love you. I keep y'all in my prayers. If there's anything that I could do, you can always come. Whatever you got going on, whatever you want to get put out there. My audience is not that big, but it'll be a couple hundred people at least. So and maybe there'll be at least one person in that couple hundred that'll answer the call. So if you're out there and you want to connect with Cicely, you can reach her. Tell them let me let you tell them how they can get in contact.
You know, I got the New African YouTube channel. I got this New African Image Makers website. You can reach me on there. You know, Cicely McClennon. You can reach me any Twitter,
Facebook.
You know,
Instagram.
If you want to email me, same difference, cicleymcclennon@gmail.com. So many different ways you can get in touch with me. I would love to have some backup. Okay. And I know somebody gonna back me up. I don't know which people is gonna be. But definitely the food processing plant is popping. We on to the farmland next. We're trying to secure 100 acres as part of a 6,000 acre farming project. Okay.
Wow.
The leadership on this one is Ghanaian.
Good.
I'm part of the mix. They really not promoting it, because they don't want just any and everybody partaking in it, because it's a very special, nice setup, but
that's understandable.
But we still want support on it. New African Image Makers, we want to head a film fund, African Film Fund.
Yeah.
We would like to go for 50,000 and then 100,000. And with that money, we would like to support about 3 to 5 films, small budget films, but the kind of films we know that we need. That's another aspect. So we're putting that campaign together. What else? I wrote a couple of books about repatriation. Feel free to pick up a couple of ebooks. That helps, because I talk about some of this in those books. Some people like to hear it spoken, some people like to read it. So I'm trying to give, to make the message so that people could hear it and understand it in the way that they best understand it. Okay?
Right.
This is what we have going on. I have a literacy project that we're incorporating into the farming community that we're going into. And I've had some support on that. Could use some more. Still have some books in Chicago. We was able to bring a lot of books here, but they are still here in my house. They're not where we need them to be yet. What else? We have a brewing and distilling club.
You make beer.
Gotta talk about the liquor. We got a brewing and distilling club, and I'm very proud to say that, we're producing. We're producing, and maybe by the end of the year, you will see some labels on some of our products. That's what we're going for by the holiday season. So we got a lot of things going on. We putting in our work, and we need to support, because every move we make is calculated. It has to be calculated. Gas price and the transport prices alone. You don't just leave your house to do anything. It got to count. So for us to be able to do. Yeah, for us to be able to do everything that I just said we're working on, you could just imagine, we definitely need backup. And and I got a grant from some friends of mine that even allow me to participate with this farming project up until now, and that's how I've been able to do that work, because it's not exactly paid yet. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we look for me, look me up. Check us out, look at the videos that we share, giving the updates. Send me your email so we can start sending you newsletters and updates if you want to be a part of it, of any of the initiatives that we're doing. And let's do our thing. Let's look lively. Yeah,
exactly. Let's look lively. Look alive, family.
Yeah, come on, my people. We gotta, you know what I'm saying? We're not just anybody coming here. We're not Lebanese. We're not Turks. We're not Chinese. We're not none of that. We're not European. We are African people.
We are.
We got removed here. We got removed from here forcibly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We went through the great hell.
Yep.
The great hell of all times. We went through it.
Yep.
We fought.
We fought through it.
And we beat the chains off our hands and our feet. We beat them chains off. Nobody volunteered to say, let me come and unloose. We beat those chains off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, one of my biggest things is, you know, I think coming to Africa made me more proud of being who I am, and what I come from. You know, being of a people, we're the only people in this country that didn't come here because we wanted to come here. We're the only people in this country that didn't immigrate. Everybody else is here because they want to be here.
Exactly.
And they're here because they want to be here because of what we made it into.
Exactly.
We made this a desirable place. We can make a home even more desirable than this.
Absolutely.
Here. So
absolutely.
We got to, like you say, look alive. Let's put our feet to the ground and just keep pushing towards the right direction. We have a lot of challenges in front of us.
Yes, ma'am.
We have, I'm sure we all imagine that eventually we will have some issues. I don't think that I anticipated these issues that we talked about, that the Black women are experiencing in Ghana specifically, but we're here. Here we are. So as we face these challenges, we need to we got to pull our shit together, and we need to do it quick, because like you said, unfortunately, this is probably gonna get worse before it get better. And if we don't go ahead and get something and get our shit together, it's gonna get way worse than we could ever imagine.
Yep.
And coming home ain't gonna look too good no more. So with that being said, I thank you so very much for chatting with me today. Once again, like I said, you have renewed you put a little battery in my back. So, and usually one thing I love about you is it always, the way you know how to turn that mirror around on somebody without making it feel intimidating and or making somebody feel bad about it. Like, you know how to, like, for me, what you've done is you've said, hey, we ain't got nobody to blame but ourselves. We need to take responsibility and accountability for our shit. And that's the solution. Because I'm like, well, what's the solution? What do we do? And you like, take responsibility, be accountable. That's what we do. And that's the truth. And I appreciate you for that. I appreciate you for being that person who's not afraid to speak the truth, not afraid to say, this is what's going on. These are our challenges, and this is what we need to do. That is so important for our community as we continue on this journey, because it's our folks getting on the plane every day.
Oh, they coming.
And they coming hard. They coming hard. And we have to be able to, for one, warn people of the challenges, but also encourage people that all ain't lost. We still have room to
take care of business.
Do our shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for giving me a chance to talk about some of this stuff. And you, like you saying, people don't talk about it. People don't want to hear it either sometimes. So it's not like I get to really get into it, you know, the way I really feel like I can get into it sometimes. So I appreciate you
Yeah.
for giving me the floor and the chance to share all of what I have shared.
Yeah, I appreciate you. And I'm gonna just let you know, sometimes because, well, the last video I did, because people don't like to hear the truth and the truth in people's experiences. I had to cut the comments off. If people get out of hand, because at the end of the day, I'm not really interested in what you think about it. I ain't interested in what you think about it. I'm interested
in a bunch
of
excuses
hearing and the excuses. What I'm interested in is, let's put it out there. You can chew up the meat and spit out the bones. Whatever settles with you, good. Whatever don't, throw that shit away. But we have to talk about the reality of things. So I'm gonna let y'all know again. If y'all get too crazy in my comments, I'll just cut them bitches off. Y'all can talk about it. Y'all can post it somewhere else, share it, and y'all can get in the comments on up under a video on a post somewhere and go in, let have and let live. I don't want to see it. So with that being said, I love y'all. I love y'all. And this is Breaking the Chains, Repatriation to Ghana, repatriating to Africa, Ghana specifically. Thank you, Cicely. Thank your family for allowing me to borrow you for a couple of hours. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. All right, you guys take it easy.
You too.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.